This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast.
What did I?
What's happening? This is Colteastwood. We're getting old. Like just as I was getting ready to do the show, say, hey, let's do a stretch, Mag, and we both kind of like our backs and everything. All the arthritis started coming through loud and clear. Welcome everybody to the show. This is episode 140. We're getting close to 2 years with the XC Podcast. Thank you everybody for being here. We really appreciate you, Mag. I want to give an intro to my co-host Mag. This is Mag, or middle-aged game guy. He hails from Canada. He is a fierce, competitive gamer. This guy platinums. He does 100% in games. He likes to wear a halter top. He's amazing, and I'm proud to have him as a co-host. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing fantastic. Colt, it's great to be here. Hey, Tall Geese Zero, hail from Ontario, Canada. That's where I'm from too, buddy. Sorry, that's a new name in the chat. I haven't seen it before, and you're from my neck of the woods. No pun intended with the geese thing. Anyways, listen, I don't just platinum. I get those thousands too, but you know the thing is, I got to tell you, I've been saying it for years. When it comes to Xbox, please, for the love of God, give us some form of a platinum, because then it feels so incomplete when I get, like, let's say 1,000 out of 1,000, right? And then all of a sudden they add like 250 from a DLC. Now it looks like, you know what I'm saying? It looks like it's incomplete. Like, give me that shining medal. If you're not allowed to do a trophy because the other guys are doing trophies, give us a medal. Give me a gold medal. All right, give me a gold medal, and then you can tack on your 250 achievement points for DLC. Something like that. But anyways, let's not get into that.
Jez Corden said that he's looked into it, and sounds like it's something they're talking about or maybe working on it. Something, but you know how Xbox drags their feet on this stuff.
They've been talking about that for like 7 years. Do you remember when Phil was talking about that in like 2017? He's like, oh, we're going to fix the achievements and this and that. We're going to remake the achievement system. Dude, when? Before I retire? Like,
well,
which is like
there was a point when they were doing that, and then they completely stopped and they gave up on it. So I guess they picked it back up, but continue to wait.
Benny, I love you. Benny, I love you too, buddy. Sorry, he said love Mag.
BT Maverick says Colt's turning into Clint Eastwood and Mag is turning into middle-aged Gamedolf for Gandalf.
Oh, where? Keep up, Peregrine Took. Yeah, I could just do Gandalf quotes all night. Still my favorite of all time. It's still got to be when they're trying to get into the mines of Moria.
In front of the door.
In front of the door, and Gandalf's doing all the like the spells, and none of them are working. And then Peregrine Took goes, "What's taking so long, Gandalf?" And he goes, "What? How are we gonna get in?" He goes, "Knock your head against this wall, Peregrine Took, and maybe it'll rid us of your stupidity." Something like that. Anyways, one of those lines. Great line.
You mixed two scenes together, but
shoot,
I like it. I think that's the new director's cut. But
it was the well. That's right. Throw yourself inside Peregrine Took and rid us of your stupidity. Yeah, that was the line.
Speaking of that, I saw a clip of 2003's Lord of the Rings. It was the Two Towers game, but it covers some of the Fellowship. And I was looking at it, I'm like, kind of the graphics kind of look good. I don't know if you guys remember the chat, if you remember it. But the telltale sign that it was like a 2000s game was the screen was this big and the HUD was like covering like 50% of the screen. Like the HUD had to be so gigantic. Because back then we all played on like 24-inch CRTs and we're like, huh?
Yeah, fair enough. Can we get a remake of those games? Seeing that we're doing remakes and remasters, which I'm all for, by the way, because I'm not into like the modern storytelling is really starting to get to me. But remake and remaster games. Give us the Lord of the Rings. Remember Return of the King?
Yeah, I only played those briefly. Yeah.
Oh man, Return of the King was a fantastic game. I would love to see that remade, like Unreal Engine 5. Let's go, man. I think EA has the rights to those, don't they?
Give us something better than Gollum, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Was it EA?
Shout out to Hargeet for finishing that game, by the way. Sorry, what'd you say?
Wow.
I know.
You know what? Hargeet deserves like a Nobel Peace Prize for finishing that game.
Hargeet's like, man, that was mid. That was really mid.
Can you imagine that? They're like in Belgium, and then they're like, and the winner of the Nobel Peace Prize for 2024 is Hage Chani for finishing Gollum. Thank you very much, Gollum.
He's the only one with a completion on it. And it's like a 42 Metacritic, and Hargate's like, gotta beat them all. Good old Hargate Chani.
Jeez, man. I can't believe he did that. Is he in the chat right now?
He is right now, yeah. Yeah,
okay,
he is.
Can everybody say congratulations to Hargi Chani for finishing probably one of the most atrocious games ever made? That is an accomplishment beyond anything that I could ever dream of in the gaming world. Colt, what have you been playing this week, buddy? What have you been doing?
That is part of the gaming world, isn't it? That's an excellent segue. Well, this is kind of embarrassing, but I got on a super Assassin's Creed kick after the week of finishing Mirage and making that video about Red. So, yeah. I don't know what happened, but I was playing a bunch of Odyssey and I was going back into the DLC, and there's like a whole thing where you go to a different island, and I played a bunch of that, and then I'm like, Valhalla. Or as my friend Redwell says, Valhalla. La, 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 la. I really gave that game a hard time, but when I booted it back up this weekend, it's all I played. Like I was in party chats playing Valhalla for like, there's all this expanded content. You go to Paris. And I don't know, I think I put in like 20 hours of Valhalla and like 10, 15 hours of Odyssey. So I haven't really gotten anywhere with Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. So what have you been playing?
Well, I finally finished Vanguard. Oh my God, what a slog to get that last, to finish the game on Veteran is so hard. Like normally Call of Duty games are pretty hard, but you know the thing is when you go on Veteran, all you do is you just poke your nose around the corner and like the nozzle of your gun and just ping, 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 ping. You take out 3-4 guys and then you clear the area, you move up and then whatever else, right? Especially when you're playing on Veteran or Realism, or what do I call it? Yeah, Realism, where you get like 1 bullet kills or 2 bullets and you're dead. This one doesn't give you much cover and stuff. It's because it's a lot of like different vignettes. It's not really like one cohesive story. It's like little stories broken up, and then there's one sort of narrative that follows through. It was really tough, man. It was really tough. And but the zombies was fun. I love zombies. So anyways, I'm done with it. Long story longer. I'm now moved on to Resident Evil 3 Remake, and I'm going to get that. I just every time I get Resident Evil, even though I played the game before, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm going for that completion. I'm going for that completion.
Which one's like, 3? The one with Jill?
3. Yeah. The one.
I like that one a lot. Yeah, that's great.
Now I've
Did you not play it
on,
before?
No, I finished it on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
I finished it. Okay, here's the funny thing. I finished it on PlayStation way back in the day. I finished it on Xbox not that long ago. It was like 3-4 years ago, whenever it came out. 4 years ago.
Yeah, like 2019 or something.
And then I got it on sale on the on PlayStation 5 now, and I'm like, well, I'm going to do it again because why not? So I bounce back and forth. So now I'm going for that one, and man, as soon as you get back into Resident Evil, you realize how good those games are, and it's just like I'm just so excited. So I'm doing that, and then I also got Helldivers, and I'm about 3 hours in, 4 hours into Helldivers, and I'm really enjoying it. However, I do have an issue. The issue is I can't add my wife as a friend. She doesn't even show up on my friend list. And then I find her. I'm like, give me your stupid code. You know, that little code. It's like 6943-785 or whatever. And you could find somebody. Yeah, if you haven't played the game, you'll understand if you play it.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, there she is.
I played the game.
There she is, Chef Trouble. There she is. Click on it. Send friend request. She says, okay. And then she goes to click accept, doesn't accept. So I'm like, all right, send me one. She sends me one. I click accept, doesn't accept.
This is all inside of Helldivers? It's not a PlayStation thing?
No, it's apparently it's the game. And then they're like, oh, there's issues between PS5 and PC. And I'm like, well, this is PS5 to PS5. So I don't understand what the problem is. Apparently the last update screwed it up for a lot of people. That's what they said. Okay. So now I found workarounds. So now I gotta go back to the home screen, find her on my friends list, and then it says she's playing a joinable game. So then I have to join her through there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Dale Martin says he can't add his wife. Likely story. Sorry, honey, I don't know what happened.
Oh, Dale Martin, that is really funny. No. Anyways, that's the workaround, and we join some randos here and there, whatever, and we're having some fun, and it's good. It's a lot of fun.
How long are you going to stick with it before we move on? Because I've had some friends drop off pretty hard.
No, I'm going to get the platinum. I don't stop playing until I get that. I don't.
Somebody send Mag a copy of Gollum on PlayStation 5.
No, do not Send me a copy of. God damn it, Colt. Now someone's gonna send it. Someone's gonna say, please don't send
It'll be like, blink. No. Hey, so you guys know what we're going to talk about. The news it's been okay lately, but we're going to talk about, it's been all right. We're going to talk about some games going to PC, some multi-platform stuff, some exclusive things. We're going to talk about how Todd Howard totally teased us with Fallout 5, some stuff with the TV show. We're also going to talk about 30 frames, Dragon's Dogma coming up, and some hardware stuff, and it's going to be a pretty good show. But before we get going, it's time for The More You Know, a public service announcement with Mag and Colteastwood.
Oh, wow.
So
I wish I had a sound clip for that.
I know. You know, if I was a creative person, I would have thought of something like that. But I wanted to kind of address some of the nonsense drama that's been going on lately, briefly. How people are getting really upset with other people and airing their grievances publicly on tweets or on podcasts and raising their voices and stuff. And one of our good friends, not Mag's good friend, one of our good friends on one of the podcasts on Friday said that they had 4 sources about Hellblade coming to being worked on as a port for PlayStation. Now, this is news that's been bounced around for probably 6 months, maybe even earlier for some people. And it's just one of those things that's like that's not founded yet. And then Jez Corden spoke up and said, I can tell you this is 100% false. This isn't in the works right now. And that really set off a lot of people. And I just want to say, if you're here watching, I know you're just as tired and worn down and frustrated with the ridiculous premise of every game that we're excited about being rumored to come to another console, right? So we're not going to push that anymore, but do your best to, I don't know, try not to kill the messengers. And Meg and I are kind of trying to set expectations when it comes to inside or early information we get, right, Meg?
You know, the thing is, a lot of the information that you get, that I get. By the way, usually they're from the same people, which is kind of funny because it's like, oh, I got a source, I got a guy who speaks to me, I know a guy who in the inside, I know people from Bethesda, which I do, and from other studios and within Microsoft and PlayStation, and I talk to them. However, they're also the same people that some other people are talking to, so sometimes we hear the same things. Now, the thing is, there's a difference between when someone says something and says, oh, they're discussing this, doesn't mean it's going to go anywhere. They could have simply said, hey, what do you think? You know, it could have been like, hey, Bob, what do you think about porting Hellblade 2 to whatever? Yeah. Hey, Toys for Bob, what do you think about, porting Hellblade 2 for PlayStation?
Toys for Bob's like, we're out of here. Sorry.
We're going independent. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, what do you think about porting it to PlayStation 5? And they're like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. But then all of a sudden it gets to someone else's ear, someone above them, and they're like, no, we're not doing that. But someone may have heard just that part, right? And said, oh, they discussed it, right? But you don't hear what happens behind closed doors beyond that. Like when you get to like the head office where they actually make the decisions, no one's in that room. Nobody is in that room except for the 2 people that know exactly what's going, who make the final decision. So discussions can happen on lower levels of the corporate ladder, and then those things get out. Right. And then there's discussions about this, discussions about that. And we've talked about that. And I talked about it, too, where I got people I had to block somebody on Saturday night. It was like 4 a.m. I was drunk out with my friends in downtown Toronto. We were at this nerd bar. You saw the pictures I sent you, right?
Yeah.
And some guy's like, Mag's such an a-hole and this and that. And I'm like, okay. And this guy's been coming after me. He was actually a good friend, actually, for a number of years. And then all of a sudden he went completely AWOL ever since the Phil came out and did his apology tour and partial lie tour. Anyways, omission of the truth tour. That whole thing. And then I had to block him. I'm like, dude, I've literally had enough of you now.
Yeah.
And so I said, I called him a bunch of horrible words, and then I blocked him. And then anyways, the point is that we hear things. Doesn't mean they come to fruition all the time. If we talk about them and say, hey, I heard about this, you don't have to, that doesn't make you a liar. It doesn't make you, a bad person. The definition of a lie is the direct and deliberate omission of the truth to cause harm. When I say I heard something, or if Riskett says he heard something, or if you say you heard something, or Rand or Jez or whoever say they heard something, if it turns out to be wrong, doesn't mean you lied. Like that's what stupid 5-year-olds think.
It's an emotional response is what it is.
It's an emotional response because people have a very unhealthy attachment to certain inanimate objects. Whether it's PlayStation, whether it's Xbox, whether it's Nintendo, whether it's their phones. People lose their minds online about phones. Have you seen people, the iPhone versus Android people arguing? They're just as bad as the console people.
Sometimes
right? And I'm
worse,
like, you guys, sometimes worse. And I'm like, you guys have a very unhealthy obsession with your inanimate objects. You need to let it go. If one of these consoles died tomorrow, so what? I just move on and just go to the next product. Like, who cares? To be like, all right, well, that sucked, but I had a great time. Then
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to that. If one of the console manufacturers completely shut themselves down, you couldn't access games. But wouldn't.
No, I'm just using it as an example. Yeah. I'm just saying as an example. Be like, listen, at the end of the day, it's not your family, it's not your friends, it's not anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like when people do say things and they're like, I heard this, I heard that. I heard a clip of it. Actually, funny enough, now that I'm saying that, I did hear the clip of where, people are losing their minds about what Risk had said. And I listened to it and I'm like, all right. I did not hear the same things, to be quite honest. So I'm not going to back that up in any way. I did not hear the same thing.
And to be fair, like we're all hearing stuff. Like everyone is talking about this. And when you were talking earlier about like consideration, like Meg and I would be in agreement that there's probably a conference room somewhere in Xbox or Microsoft offices where they have all the games laying there and they're kind of like, okay, let's push these over here. These aren't going to do anything. These, we might make some changes. Like these are all discussions. And I think when Phil says these are just the 4 games right now, that they're just way too early to make any kind of decision. And I want to double down and help everybody kind of understand that I'm no longer going to sit here and let anybody panic about what's going to happen to the platforms, because to be perfectly frank about it, or Bob, whichever is Mag's favorite name to use that day, to be as straightforward as you can, the exclusivity definition is completely diluted now, and PlayStation's moving nearly all their games to PC. In fact, I put up a screenshot the other day of Steam where there is almost 20 PlayStation games on Steam right now, Mag. And according to us, and all of you, thank you for being here and listening to the XT podcast. Hey, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We're going to get into the news now. This is a great segue to talk about what's going on.
Sure.
15 to 20, there's at least almost 20 games from PlayStation on Steam already. And they've just barely begun this move to PC for their games. And now you've got Hiroki Totoki who's saying we need to make a more aggressive approach about putting our games on more platforms, which is probably just on handhelds and PC. So yeah, it's a big change. And if you're an Xbox fan and you only want to play there and you want that unique experience with exclusives, Jez Corden said the other day that ship has sailed. Things are going to change, but we're still going to get those games. And I think throwing all the stupid outsider stuff out the window, which Meg and I are really trying to do that as much as possible to make things feel more realistic as we talk about it. Because we like to get excited about stuff, if it's going to happen or not, or could it possibly be, right? And some of you in the audience like to hear that, like if it's exciting, but if I'm going to say, or Meg's going to say, this could be bad news, it sucks to hear, right? There's going to be some big changes. And I think, I think we still get these great games. And I think Xbox is really going to be pretty careful about which games they push over to other platforms. And that's kind of where I'm feeling personally on it right now.
I think that there's a distinct possibility with J-Boy on the run. I see what you said there. Scumbag. Anyways, the thing is, when you look at the sales or the pre-sales of like Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, actually that I would think at that rate, remember what I said to you a couple of weeks ago? I said on this very show, I think that's just going to embolden them even further. When they're like, well, if this game's like doing gangbusters, what do you think would happen if this game went on? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that would be the mentality, because I think at some point there is coming a point. We did talk about the civil war that's going on within Microsoft in terms of ideologies of what's happening behind the scenes, right? From the developers, from the actual, the executives of Xbox, and then the executives of Microsoft, which are different people, which everybody has to understand are different people. Like when people say, oh, they can afford AAA games, they are worth $3 trillion. That is literally not how it works at all in any aspect whatsoever. Phil goes to bed at night, same as I do, freaking the F out about budgets, okay? Because I have to deal with the same crap that he does, and they have this endless amount of cash just lying around doing whatever. They have to keep
1 second.
those budgets. Sure.
We reconnected, so you have to repeat 10 seconds of what you said. They don't have to kick back. Now go back. We disconnected for like half a second. You're like, I don't know, I'm old.
Please don't tell me I have to repeat my whole idea.
No. Like you were talking about how,
yacht.
Yeah, the yacht. We heard the yacht thing, and then you said they have to. Yeah.
What I'm saying is they still have to answer to somebody when it comes to money or whatever. So now the thing is, when you get the Microsoft executives, not the Xbox executives, the Microsoft executives, the CFOs, and everything, saying, "Hey, look at how much we made. Look at how much money we made over here with a game that's not even a monster." Well, okay, there was a monster amount of engagement on Sea of Thieves on Xbox. There's no question. But you wouldn't consider that. I mean, you know what I mean? If you look at the big pantheon of the big, Xbox titles, Sea of Thieves is not really in the top 3. You wouldn't think, right? You would think like your Halo, your Gears, your whatever would be your flagship titles. And they're like, this isn't even considered a quote-unquote flagship title, but look at how well it's doing. Imagine if we put one.
It makes a lot of money for Xbox. Sea of Thieves does.
That's what I'm saying. But you see what I'm getting at? I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying a damn word. I'm just saying it may embolden them further to say, "Holy crap! Look at how well that did." Imagine if we get Marcus Phoenix over there. Just saying.
It's really hard to. Well, it's actually really easy because when I put all the topics that Mag and I are going to talk about, they're all like this interlocked circle of what's going on in the games industry. And believe it or not, there's a lot of good that comes from these changes, whether it be a more healthy ecosystem because they break out of the constraints. We're going to talk about Sean Layden and what he has to say. Sean Layden and Peter Moore, former leaders of Xbox and PlayStation, have their own ideology of where the games industry is going that lines up with things that we've all been saying, you in the chat have been saying. Like, and I know, and even us and you in the chat have said exclusives are important. We're going to take this approach now on the show, especially today, where we'll look at this in a more, like a big picture mode, where we can actually see where it's going and have the backing of the industry that says this is going to be good for the industry as a whole and it's going to make things healthy. And then in the end, it's going to give us way more choice and more punch for the money that we spend on games. And I don't even know where to start because any of the topics that I have for us today, Mag, actually line right in. I could bounce around and everything would go as smoothly as possible. So since you were just talking about Sea of Thieves, let's talk about that quickly because I don't think there's much to say other than right now, because it's new, it is outpacing, or is right now, it is above Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade. 2 upcoming hot exclusives for PlayStation. Sea of Thieves has passed, at this point, since it's new, it has passed those 2 exclusive games in the most pre-ordered. The weird thing being that Sea of Thieves is 6 years old, and it's a game where they all said, who wants to go chasing chickens and the Kraken is lacking, Sea of Thieves is lame, 62 Metacritic or whatever, the whole narrative that went on. Of course, it's evolved massively over the years. By rights, it should. But you're right, Mag. Sea of Thieves is a hot commodity, even this far down the road on PlayStation. What was your response to that when you saw that news?
Well, exactly what I just said a couple minutes ago. I think you'd have to be a fool not to think that this may embolden them further to say, if this is already doing well, what else can do well? Right? And of course, I bet you those discussions are happening right now feverishly in boardrooms as we speak, saying, what else can we bring over there? Because at the end of the day, if someone, you can have your people screaming about this and that going over to PlayStation. Let's just say, again, I'm going to bring it up as an example. Bradward Fight, stop quote tweeting me on Twitter. He already put, son of a bitch, he already put up on Twitter. He said, what if Gears came up to PlayStation and put my name on it? I'm like, dude, stop.
Did he already do that?
He already did it. It's already on Twitter. Anyways, the point is, I'm just going to make it as an example.
I know he can say, Colt says on XC Podcast, I love to eat baby cats. I'm like, I literally did not say that. Where did he get? No, I'm just kidding. But baby cats are delicious.
Somebody clip that because we already got it now. He already said it on the air. We have the technology. You just said baby cats are delicious. Done. By the way, baby cats are known as kittens in the Western world, or appetizers in China. Anyways, I did not say any of those things. Anyways, and Colteastwood is dead, ladies and gentlemen. He fell off his chair.
X&C is now off the air. We're being replaced by the Andy Williams Show.
It doesn't matter. TikTok is going to be taken over anyway. Anyways, the point is, they're watching us all, by the way, just so you know. The thing is, they're
trying to ban TikTok right now. Ridiculous. Where are we going to make your money? They've already got me quoted.
I don't even want to get. Yeah, they already got you quoted. It's over, dude. Anyways.
Oh gosh.
The thing is, at the end of the day, it may have emboldened the situation. And now, let's say, for example, if you.
Oh wait, you had an actual point. I'm sorry.
No, I did have a point, and I forgot it because then Bradward Fight decided to quote TV and made me lose my train of thought. The idea
Sea of Thieves, go. You got it now.
Sea of Thieves, all right? Sea of Thieves. It's evolved over time. You got to the point now where it's no longer this bare bones experience. It has this multifaceted approach of all these different DLCs, all these different things. They even had they had that the cooperative situation with Disney when they had the Pirates of the Caribbean expansions and all those other things, right? So now you actually have something that people would want to, no pun intended, dive into and really get into this game and say, okay, wow, there's a lot of content here. You know what I mean? That's where they start looking back at some of the lore. And if you get 5% of the fan base upset, that let's say a fabled Marcus Phoenix collection goes over there, 5% are going to be pissed off. The 95% are not going to care. Out of the 20% that's hardcore, 5% will be so upset that they're going to throw themselves out windows and bounce off suicide nets out of the Apple's, the Apple building factory, whatever. And then the other 15% are going to be like me, who are going to be like, all right, whatever, man. I already have them on Xbox. What do I care if other people to get to enjoy that? And then the other 80% of the normies have no idea what we're talking about.
Right.
So if you get like the hardcore, if you get like the hardcore Gears players like Crispy Bomb, and he's like, his head explodes and he looks like Sweet Tooth from like Twisted Metal or something because it's going to go over there. Who cares? I mean, he'll get mad, but that's not going to stop the business. You know what I mean? Or my friend Noof Nukem. He's a huge Gears of War fan, and I think he would be pretty pissed off if it went over there. But at the end of the day, is it going to stop anybody from playing Gear 6 on Xbox?
The best part about this is
no.
The people that we hear complaining, I don't think they're real people because,
Noob
like
is a
you
real
said,
person. I've met him.
When you look at the PlayStation, like these real people just want to play games. They don't care about any of that other stuff. So when a game like Sea of Thieves, if they've heard talked about for 6 years, it comes to PlayStation, like they jump on the pre-order because that's the reality. Let me get some supers are piling up. We got a couple great ones. Let's go, says KJ Wars, who's been a channel member for 15 months. Harit Chani sends a support for Japanese games on Xbox with a code for Unicorn Overlord for the US. I wish I didn't read region lock stuff, but thank you, Harit Chani. David Kirkhoff with the €6. Thank you so much for the super. He says, glad I built my own PC in i9 4080 super play all your Xbox and PlayStation exclusives day one on my PC. Put my X back in the box.
Hey, that's great, man. That's good. That if you have the money, that's the way to go. And I'm going to touch on that for 30 seconds and I'll let you continue. There's something this sentiment that's going around lately where everybody's like, oh, PC's taking over. No, it's not. It absolutely is not. And I'll tell you why. There comes a point when they're like, when the price, when, there is a price wall there, and that price wall is unattainable for a lot of the normies out there. There are hardcore people out there like you, like myself, like people in this chat, people who listen to later, people who listen on Spotify, and everybody else. We can do these things because this is a passion that we have, our hobby that we can go out and spend thousands of dollars on. Ma and Pa are not going to go spend $3,500 so little Jimmy can have a 4090
or
in his bedroom. Or $2,000 for you, $3,500 for us. You know what I'm saying? Or Australian, or in the UK, or whatever else. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
you're talking $3,000+. I was just at a PC build store the other day checking out some stuff with my son. Thousands of dollars. They're not going to do it. That's why consoles will never go away. But the thing is, if you can't afford it, you are absolutely living your best life. And you know why? Because he just said it in that super chat. He gets to play PlayStation games. He gets to play Xbox games. He gets to play third-party games. It's the best of all worlds minus Nintendo, right? So Nintendo. That's what they're going to do. But anyways, good for you, man. Carry on.
Jez Corden and Destin Legary are saying, like, that the console is going to be around for a long time. They're going to have a lot of consoles. Who was it else? I think it was Matt Piscatella was also saying, like, you got these people who've been reporting on the games news far longer than I have, saying the consoles aren't going anywhere. I'm sorry. Oh, crud, I'm blanking on his name. I want to have him on the show. Oh my gosh, I got to look it up because I want to say his name right away. He's the head of VG Charts. Super cool guy. William D'Angelo, and also a guy, another guy I remember seeing his tweet. We're saying that consoles are going to be around for a long time, and it's undeniable. If somebody's like, oh, blah, the PC talk. Okay, here's the console talk. I like PC a lot, but it is undeniable for $500 or $600 how these games look. It's amazing. Yeah. And all the games you have available to you for like pennies on the dollar compared to PC. So
it's affordability, Colt.
It is. And when David Kirchhoff says, I put my Xbox back in my box for my PC, that's cool if you're okay with some of those games kind of being put dormant for a while until you plug that thing back in because you have to buy some back. But do whatever you want to do, I guess.
If you have the money, but in the end of the day, consoles are not going to go anywhere as long as the gaming industry's around because it's all about affordability. You know, someone could bitch to me about their car. Well, my car's not fast enough. I could be in a different position. I'd be like, well, then just buy a Mercedes.
Right.
Or just buy a Porsche if you want a faster car. I could say, oh, just buy this, just buy that. That's the same as when someone says, oh, like you see in the comment section, oh, just buy a PC. Not everybody can afford anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000.
Hey,
for gaming, right? So that's the thing.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry. I was unfaithful today. I have a really nice car. I'm really, really, really happy with it. I've had it for 3 years. It's a really, really nice car. And it's the first brand new car I've ever owned. And I was driving home today and I looked twice, which makes me unfaithful, a new Honda Civic. And it was like in a nice, like royal blue. And I don't know, I have a soft spot for Honda Civics. And I've got this nice car. And I looked at that Honda Civic and I thought, I'd like to have that too. But sometimes, sometimes that's how you feel.
Well, I mean, usually when I'm out on a date with my wife and I say I'd like that too, she always slaps me. But I mean, what am I supposed to do?
I would never,
really
but a car, but I will be unfaithful to my car. I don't know what it is about a Honda Civic. It just goes back a long time, a love affair.
Just buy a PC, bro.
Just buy a PC. I love that. You and I make fun of that. Just buy a PC. I'm like, well, you're going to throw all your games in the garbage that you own? You're going to rebuy them all?
I can afford a PC, but like the majority of people can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not a flex, by the way. That's not some weird flex. I'm just saying that I can allocate money towards buying a PC. Where there's a lot of people out there saying, listen, my budget's $500. And that's it. And that's totally fine. Right? Because there's other people who have budgets of, there's other people who say, well, I can only afford $5 million for my house. Right? And then I'm like, oh, really? Okay.
But the kicker is, Mag, you don't want to. You don't want to. And not everybody wants to.
Right. That's the other thing. Not everybody wants to. Everybody likes to play.
Not everybody wants to get a PS5.
And a lot of people just want a $500 box. And that's always going to be a thing. It's always
how you know? Yeah. And you know how you know?
Yeah.
They're selling half as many PlayStation 5s than Xbox is, and you don't need one at all. There's no reason. There's no mark on a piece of paper that tells you that you should actually own a Xbox Series S or X other than it's cheaper than getting a PC. And they still sell them, which is saying something.
If you don't know, now you know, silly. Well, you said it first. You said, and if you don't know, and I'm like, BIG just came to mind.
Rest in peace. We got a super from our good friend Spriggan113, or AKA Dante. Thank you for the 20. He says, send in this to stop Colt from eating kittens before it's too late. Well, the campaign has been put forward, so well, I don't know what to do with all that sriracha and steak seasoning, but we'll figure out something else. That blue number, thank you so much for the $20 super. Very, very generous.
What's up?
She says, I just wanted to say, watch your gnomes around Dante. Now, watch your gnomes is like one of those like gut bowled over laughing moments when Dante and Holly and I were playing Fallout 76 last year, like for hours and hours. And she decorated her vault entrance with these little Fallout Pip-Boy gnomes. And Dante's like, I can't stand gnomes. I have a thing. I don't like them. And then he's like, and you actually can destroy them in the game by shooting them. And he was just being a real big jerk, and we'll never forgive him. So that's what
that's awful. That blue number. Hello, it's so nice to see you. Yes. So she said hi to me in the chat as well. So.
Yeah, well, because she's nice, and we should have her on the show again.
She is nice. She's wonderful. And the one show that I was away did a great job. I listened to the show after the fact. Obviously, I was traveling that night. But yeah,
I mean, you're a handsome man, Mag. I mean, I got to say, you are good looking. But we'll have to have Holly on the show again with you. How about that?
Some say ruggedly handsome, some say stunning, but I mean,
rugged goes without saying, man.
I've been known to be called gorgeous here and there if I go to a really, really, really underground goth club, but that's just
goth club.
I did go to a goth club on Saturday night. I'm not even kidding, and the place is called Dracula's Daughter. I swear to God, I'm not even making this up. So I started off at the nerd place. And then there's another place called Dracula's Daughter, and that's where, and I'm like, we're going there. And we went there, and man, it was awesome. I had such a good time. There was a lady there who's 6'2", and she was dressed up as the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland in black leather. It was amazing. Yeah, it was incredible.
I bet people really get into that when they go out to places like that.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. I wore my Terrifier shirt that night, the one with Art the Clown on it, and I had people coming up to me nonstop going, dude, your shirt is awesome. Art the Clown is the best. And I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for the
Did you tell everybody your name is Mag the Impaler?
Yeah, no, that's...
So I think it's actually a gruesome story with Vladimir the Impaler. I'll have to look that up. We got a super chat from Face 23 Brooklyn, New York. What's up, bro?
Big ups to Brooklyn. Big ups to Brooklyn.
Face 23 and I have been talking about the Pro, and that's one of the topics we're going to talk about. We might kind of fold into it here right now. But he says... Hey, at Colteastwood, the more PlayStation players buy Xbox games, the more money Microsoft makes, the more Xbox games come to PlayStation. Maybe.
Yes, maybe. That's what I was just saying. Mm-hmm. My keys, I don't know what... my favorite candy bar, I have to say my favorite candy bar is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
What?
Seriously? Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? What's wrong with that? They're the best. And Snickers are
I thought I knew you. I thought you had the candy bar.
Yeah, someone said, "Oh, that lone wolf gamer, what the f has the show turned into a bromance?" No, we're just having a discussion. Carry on.
What does it mean turned into? Yeah. Bro, what about the Toblerone?
The Toblerone is not a chocolate bar; it's a delicacy.
Do you like? I wanna kiss you all over.
Yeah, it is. And I can't get them right now because it's not Christmas season, and it's hard to find when it's not Christmas season because they don't make fresh ones during the rest of the time of year. It's after Halloween they start releasing the fresh ones that get just produced.
Just
everything
right
you
off
else
the
get
line.
for the rest of the year. Yeah, it's fantastic. And then you get all the ones with the Christmas decorations on them. The ones you get for the rest of the year are just leftovers, and they just don't taste as good. They're not as fresh. Anyways, back to gaming.
Talk about picky. All right,
Fallout and gnomes. Let's go.
So Fallout, gnomes, and candy bars. Yeah. Face 23 says the more games that sell on PlayStation from Xbox means that they'll put more games on PlayStation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It makes business sense. Again, I think that this set of results that we've seen this week with the pre-orders of Sea of Thieves is just going to embolden them further to put more on there. Just my take.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing the same thing with PlayStation. They're going to be fast-tracking their games to PC. They've got Nixxes becoming one of their most lucrative developers, remastering their games onto PC and kicking their sales up several RPMs, which is really good. I think my chair was stuck. I think
do you know who else has been who they've been looking at is Capcom. Because when Capcom went back and started remaking Resident Evils from Part 2 and on, and seeing the incredible sales results from those games, from 2, 3, and 4, all did incredibly well. You don't think that PlayStation or Xbox is going back and saying, okay, these games are 20 plus years old. What do we have in our pantheon of back catalog games that we can start remaking?
Is the word.
Yeah, Pantalones, and start remaking from the ground up and start re-releasing and selling 1 to 2 million copies each of games that are considered not dead IP, but certainly those specific entries in the series would be considered dead IP, right? Because Resident Evil 2 from the PlayStation 2 wasn't selling anymore. right? So, but the remake sold like hotcakes. So I can see them going back. Why not get a remake of Halo 1, the Gears collection, as we've already discussed? Or I heard the rumors about the Uncharted series, Uncharted 1 being remade from the ground up. Go for it. Go for it. I have no problem with it, man.
Which is a great game, by the way. I don't know why people dismiss it.
Yep. What is so funny, Colt? I saw you looking at the chat. What's up?
Matthew said, give him Redfall and put a wrench in it. I thought it was so funny. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. Like, part of what we're going to talk about today is Phil saying that we see an importance to exclusivity. Like, that still has a priority for them. It's the same thing that Sean Layden and Peter Moore are saying in their recent interviews, which we'll get into today as well. Let me get to welcome to the early access. We got a channel member, Dion Hayes, join the channel membership. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining and supporting. You also get early access and merch. I'm wearing one of my merch shirts today. It's just like the Colteastwood banner thing, but people don't really buy shirts like that, but I have other designs, so you can check them out. But Hardy Johnny with a $10 super chat. He says, seeing quite a few decent PCs at Best Buy for around $750. Games are pretty cheap in several stores on PC. Yeah, that's true. He says, no paying for online. That's also true. No need to buy an Xbox and PS. So it's actually cheaper. And then he's got this emoji. I mean, I would not recommend buying a budget PC if you want to get into PC gaming. Spend a little extra. And then you won't be disappointed when you play the next big game. Which, let's talk about the next big game. Budget is not the way
to go. Yeah, let's talk about the next big game then.
Well, let's do that because it's kind of an expectation of what we'll see from the performance of games right now with the new consoles. Let's see. I think this, yeah, I'm going to read Face 23's super chat because this also folds into what we're about to talk about. Okay, Mag? Face 23 says, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, bro. He says, regardless of how you want to spin it, PS5 Pro's negative speculation news. Colt, the fact is Sony will have the most powerful console in the market, the best place to play GTA 6 when it launches because it's not on PC day one. He's absolutely right. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to launch probably at the end of 2025 to Xbox Series X, Series S, PS5, and PS5 Pro, which we think is coming out this holiday. So we know that the definitive best version will be on PS5 Pro. Now, the problem, Mag, is that Digital Foundry twice now, just the other day, they doubled down. They don't think that the PS5 Pro is going to double frame rates or get us out of the 30 frames rut, which we're seeing right now with Dragon's Dogma. But I'm not sure if I want to talk about Dragon's Dogma first or Grand Theft Auto 6, so I'm going to let Mag choose. Which game would you rather discuss when we talk about performance and expectations?
You know, I could touch on Dragon's Dogma very briefly and say that I did hear, I'm not a tech guy, but I did hear that the possibilities of the problem of that game is that it's actually the engine, not the hardware. That's the issue. Like I said, I don't know what the hell that even means because, like I said, I'm not a tech guy. I just heard that on another show, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I meant to look it up, and I didn't look it up in time to be able to speak on it during the show. So
the RE engine is really fantastic, right?
It is. But is it the RE engine that's powering that game?
Yes, it is. I just looked it up for you. But you can look at Resident Evil 7, but that's not a big open world game, right?
No, that's the other thing. I would say like the Resident Evil series are 60 FPS, but they're linear by design, right? Yes, you can explore here and there, a room here and there. You could go up and down and this and that, but it's not a gigantic open world.
Okay. So
I don't know. Like I said, I do not know because I'm not a tech guy, but I can tell you what would be the point. My question is, as a consumer, not as a tech expert, which I'm not, my question would be, why would they make a PS5 Pro if they're not going to be able to do this? If they're not going to be able to hit performance targets?
Okay.
What is the point?
Okay, that's a valid question.
Just from logic standpoint, you're not going to be releasing anywhere between a $500 and $650 American dollar console, and it can't perform. I don't buy that at all.
Well, here's the thing. We've been complaining lately about big AAA games coming in 2023 and 2024, running essentially at 1080p 60 using aggressive upsampling, checkerboarding, or super resolution. And I scratch what little bit of hair I have left on my head and think, how were we getting like near 4K 60 with Far Cry 6. And now we get into full next generation. Starfield's at 30 frames. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth looks so bad in performance mode that Digital Foundry says we recommend you play in quality mode at 30 frames and don't even touch the 60 frames mode, which essentially to me means if you're playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that you are playing it at 30 frames. And I'm sure people can choose 60 if they don't mind massive drops and all that other stuff, right? This is what they had to say. Right now we have 30 frames on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Dragon's Dogma runs at an unlocked 30 where they say it basically sits around 30 the entire time. Grand Theft Auto 6, Digital Foundry is dug into the ray tracing they're not using baked-in lighting. So they think that they're going to push fidelity over performance. I think, Mag, and I'll say it here, I think that Grand Theft Auto 6 will launch with a performance mode on Series X and the PS5 consoles. I think that's going to happen. I haven't heard that. It's not an insider thing. I just think after all this time with the amount of compute, and there's not the big bottleneck we saw last generation, that we can sit here and be a little bit hopeful that maybe there's a performance mode. So my stance is if Grand Theft Auto 6 runs at 60 frames on the Pro for PS5, that's because it also has a performance mode on the Series X. If that's true, the Pro will still mop the floor with the Series X in performance and for resolution. Let me talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 for a moment, Mag, because they believe that this new PS5 Pro has AI capabilities built in it, which is pretty cool that they would be doing that this early on before a next generation console, and that they'll be able to upsample and use this checkerboarding and get really nice, clean imagery. But this thing is going to be built for path tracing. And so you're going to get really nice, like visually noticeable ray tracing, but probably at 30. And so this is what Digital Foundry said. Additionally, the frame rate provides an objective difference in both. Oh, that's another thing. Sorry. I was going to talk about the 30 frames versus 60, but I think we're all beyond that. They said PS5 Pro won't double frame rate, only resolution and path tracing at 30 FPS. They said, we're not getting double the number of compute units. Now, I know you're like, I'm not a tech guy, so I'll make this as easy as entertainingly as possible. The compute units, you got your processing, right? So they said, we're not getting double the number of compute units like they saw on the PS4 Pro from the base PS4. So the increased clock speeds may not deliver automatically double the frame rate in graphics related scenarios. Also considering how the PS5 Pro coming this year, the CPU is going to be a limiting factor and the VRAM and the memory bandwidth staying the same. Oh, there's a lot of tech talk. Any performance improvements over the base model PS5 will likely be delivered by the rumored upscaling technology Sony is working and developing with AMD. The additional power of the console could also be used to add transformative elements not possible, such as path tracing. One more quote from John Linneman. I love this guy. The frame rate is basically 30 FPS, but with 4 frame pacing, it looks much worse than the VRR version of Xbox could save the day when he's talking about Final Fantasy VII. But the PS5 looks poor in motion. So the Pro would help Final Fantasy Rebirth, which does have a 60 frames mode. So that's where we're sitting. I think the Pro is going to make games look a lot nicer and maybe run a little bit better.
Well, I mean, that would be the hope, right? And that's why I'm asking. And at the end of the day, when you get to this console that you expect people to pay the same amount, if not more, than what they paid for, let's say, the PS5 or the Series X upon release, what would be the advantage of doing so other than some pizzazz? I need more than just pizzazz. Pizzazz helps. But, I mean, if you're not, you're buying this for performance, it has to perform. So the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm going to wait and see what they have to offer, what they're going to say. And when they do the reveal, most likely September would be my guess. When they start talking about it, then they start talking about specs, what they can do, what you can expect, because they're going to be pretty upfront about it. They'll say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will be playing at this and that, at this fidelity, at this, this frame rate. Enjoy this and that, enjoy whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you can bet your ass that they have the Grand Theft Auto 6 marketing rights, because Sony gets Sony gets the marketing rights for Grand Theft Auto, and that's when they're going to blow everybody out of the water. When that marketing rights thing kicks in and they start bundling GTA 6 with PS5s or PS5 Pro specifically, the best way to play that's your tagline on the PS5 Pro with the GTA 6 bundled in March, let's say March or April of that year. I'm just spitballing here. The best way to play, holy mackerel. People will line up for that.
Yeah,
But
the PS5 Pro
will
will easily be the best way to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Right, but they have to back it up with performance. You can't just say it's the best place to play, and if it's just a slight improvement of what they already have on the PS5 and the Series X. It has to be a significant amount. If you're going to be dishing out close to, like, especially for me, it probably is going to be about $700, right?
I think the Pro model is more for remedying what couldn't be done with a base model. Yodani says, what's the precedent for mid-gen console upgrades? How did the Xbox One X or PS4 Pro do with units? As far as I know, they sold really well. I saw a report that the PS4 Pro really increased the sales of the console. Of course, Xbox wasn't reporting back then, but they finally saw some live activity of the consoles when the One X came out, because the One X was a really great like resolution fixer. It allowed the Pro and the One X allowed performance mode to finally come to console games. So I think those consoles do really well, but I think they look at them as a really, really nice Band-Aid that offers you a really good boost in image quality. You know, you could scan over the image. They'd show you, here's what Horizon Zero Dawn looks like before, and here's what it looks like with the Pro, and you have more density and higher quality.
When they do the reveal in the fall, my guess, like I said, be September, they're going to have to do that. They're going to have to do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to go specifically with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, saying, this is what you got on the PS5. This is what you're going to get on the PS5 Pro. And then just put them side by side and then show, you know what I mean? And then talk about, maybe they won't be able to talk about Grand Theft Auto because Rockstar says, yeah, it's too early. And Rockstar's going to be like, listen, don't start talking about performance and things like that. We're not at liberty to discuss that just yet. When we get closer to release, then you could talk about it. Yeah. But until then, they may not say too much about it. They may just say that it's coming to the console, but that's about it. I don't think they'll talk about performance. But they will have to go back and say, hey, listen, this is what you're going to be getting. And maybe even take a stab at the competition with whatever third-party game that they have marketing with. Oh, you're playing this over here? This is what it's going to look like over here, or whatever. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? To do some of that guerrilla tactics marketing, and that they're famous for, cutthroat sort of marketing. That I could see that. But at the end of the day, they have to back it up with performance. If it does not perform, then what's the point of even having this thing, right? So let's just see. I understand Digital Foundry, and I understand what they do, because obviously they know a hell of a lot more than me. I know John Linneman doesn't like me. But he had some not nice things to say about me. But whatever, dude.
He said, "I don't know you." He just thought that was funny. Thankfully he was pretty nice about it after I stepped in. I'm like, hey, don't be talking about my boy Mag like that.
Yeah,
come here, you little scallywag. I like John Linneman a lot. I was listening to their show this morning.
No, they know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing, and they obviously can speculate based on what you were saying. They're basing it off of history of the PS4 and the PS4 Pro.
And they've seen some preliminary leaks. So I would expect hardware testing to start leaking sometime this early summer. So we'll know.
Sure.
But I mean,
when it happens, it happens. I'll be, I'll watch the premiere and I'll be excited or not excited, one of the two.
It's a lot of PlayStation hardware talk for a show that has green borders around it, right? But you know what doesn't take, gaming, right? You know what hardware I do rely on, because you can't always count on a console for leaks, but I've really relied on the Lawnmower 5.0 mag, because this thing, when it comes to giving you the compute units you need to keep things slim, trimmed, and shiny, you can really count on the Lawnmower 5.0 from Manscaped.
I got to tell you,
to get you into next generation.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And I got to tell you, on top of that, I don't need Digital Foundry to look at my privates in 4K 60 FPS. And I can tell you one thing, my wife can tell you, I'm always in performance mode. So you know how it goes. And, anyways, when I look in the mirror, there's a lot of 4K 60 going on there, and it's all because of that Lawnmower 5.0. And then you know what? You can get all the different things. You can get the ball creams. You can get the different balms. You can have wonderful scents, wonderful smells. You can put body lotions on. You can do all these great things with Manscaped, all with the promo code of XNC, and you could use that to get a 20% discount. Colt, tell them what they could get with that discount, buddy.
With that discount, like, you can buy the Lawnmower 5.0, like Mag said, it comes with attachments for the trimmer, so so you can figure out, how much ray tracing. But the best is getting the path tracing right down the midsection. Just path trace right through to a clean and shinier you. None of this is even on script, but Meg and I like to have fun about this. We've been doing the Manscaped thing for about a month, so we appreciate you guys for supporting us as we do that. And let us know if you ended up picking up any product or bought the trimmer. It's nice, man. It lasts forever on a charge, too.
Dude,
better than my phone.
I swear to God, I think I charged the thing. Well, mind you, I also don't grow hair like a Sasquatch. I have no hair. But like in the rare areas that I do, I haven't charged that thing in like 3 weeks, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been like February was the last time I charged it, and the thing is still like. Well, never mind. I was going to say something that would probably get us demonetized. But either way, I'm not going to say it. But I got to tell you, the battery lasts forever. So that's all I got to say. The thing is powerful, and my God, that thing is powerful. Holy mackerel! When you turn that thing on, and it doesn't have that really loud, irritating like tattoo parlor like.
Oh yeah, you can use it while you're in a Teams meeting for work, and no one's the wiser. 20% off of the XC code. Let's get a couple supers. We got. Ultraman, thank you so much for the 5. Says, hey, Colt Mag, first time catching you guys live.
Hey, Ultraman sounds like a superhero. I love it. Great name, buddy. Great name.
He is.
There it is, Ultraman.
And shout out to our good friend Lotus Esprit. They sent a $50 super chat and says, "You're amazing with this. Looks like a little fox with the shinobi hat on. Awesome. I love it. I don't know what that hat's called, but it's super cool. Those little stickers. Sometimes they animate. Yeah." Nerds and Other Legends, thank you so much for the $5 super. The relationship between Game Plus fun rarely has a correlation with FPS and teraflops. Yeah, maybe I'm too old to understand today's gamers. Nerds, yeah, I get you. I was diving into the 30 frames through versus 60 frames, and there's a bunch of reports where people can tell the difference, and they said it actually does increase the enjoyability of games when they run smoother, but I don't know. The games just have to be good. That's kind of where
Lone
we're at
Wolf Gamer, let me tell you something. I'm going to take that Lawnmower 5.0 and shave off that bad attitude of yours, sir. Carry on, Colteastwood. Carry on, Colteastwood.
Without the guard? I don't want you the guard.
Without the guard, exactly. And shave that attitude right off of you. Or else I'm going to call Ultraman. He's going to come in and save the
Ultraman's going to do the...
Ultraman's going to come in and save the day. That's what's going to happen. You better watch yourself.
Wait,
carry on.
Does he say Haryuken when he does the fireball in Street Fighter?
No, Shoryuken is the uppercut.
Okay, yeah, I did that right. Okay. Man, I used to play that a bunch.
Hadouken is the fireball. I got it right there. Get over there, right in the back.
That's why we have Mag here. Boner Jams! Thank you so much for the $10 super. He says, this just it. Can you see this one, Mag?
What's up?
Boner Jams. I want you to read. I always get to read Boner Jams. He always gives you good shout outs. So I want you to read it.
All right. Boner Jams for $9.99. He said, this just in, Megatron is the new spokesman, that is, spokesperson for Neo Geo. The shirtless promotional pic showing off his pectorals was a little over the top for me, but I still love the guy. Great show, boys. Boner Jams, you just inspired me to do more stuff with no clothes on. I am absolutely going to be doing that. Wait till you see my promotion in the spring for Stellar Blade 2 when I wear her outfit. Yes, Colt, carry on, sir.
No one is ready for that. Stellar Blade is so popular on the internet. Like on posts, there's so many likes, and people got a hold of that demo early. They're putting up footage. They're getting screenshots out. That game is going to be really popular. I just don't know how... I think it's going to score quite well. What do you think, Mag?
Well, it doesn't need any assistance to get any high scores in for the Metacritic. I think it's going to do quite well. So, yeah, I know. I think it's going to do quite well. But you know what? Hey, you never know. Maybe it's going to be a new franchise. You just don't know these days, man. Like, it's wild. Like, it's kind of fun to see. It's kind of fun. I know it's it's unproven ground or whatever, but I do find it fun when you get a new IP out there. And like Xbox has got, like, for example, what's their newest IP that they're going to have coming in the next year? South of Midnight will be a new one, right? Yeah. That's not an existing franchise.
Avowed is kind of a new franchise, even though it's based off of Pillars, but it's good. Yeah. They're few and far between, seems like.
Yeah. So like to actually have a new IP, like Stellar Blade's a new IP, South of Midnight's a new IP. I guess you could say Avowed, sure. I know it's in the Pillars of Eternity world, whatever. But
it's new.
Yeah, it's new. But the thing is, it has all these games, these new IPs have the potential to become a new franchise. And I think that's obviously what everybody shoots for, right? Everybody wants to be the new whatever, fill in the blank. And it'd be amazing to talk about South of Midnight 7 or Stellar Blade 6 in like 15 years from now or whatever, right? It's like, you know what I mean? And like the whole
70
world's
years. How long it takes for sequels these days.
Well, not after Skynet takes over. So
we love our games, but it seems like we're filled with sequels and remasters, and I'm still happy. But so you stop it. You stop it right now. Hit the like button. All right. What the heck? Hit the thumbs up. Like it's not that much to ask.
Lone Star. I did not say it's coming out this year. Listening comprehension is not strong enough.
What for South of Midnight?
That's South of Midnight.
No, we'll see. We'll probably see gameplay this year, and it'll be out in a year or so.
In about a year or so, yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere within the year.
It'll be all right. So we got to talk about something in your neck of the woods. Good old WB. Warner Brothers Game Studios said they're going to be shifting away from volatile AAA single player games to games as a service on the cusp of the fantastic Hogwarts Legacy kicking butt in every possible facet, except for awards. I mean, Meg, you talk about WB a lot. What do you think about them saying we want to just make games that just aren't one and done? That's one of their quotes.
That's not a quote from the entire... See, I got so mad I threw my hat off. That's not a quote that represents the entire studio. That's one jackass who works there, and then it got blown out of proportion. They talked about
really?
it. That it was a couple of people that were talking
was
about
his name Frank or Bob?
It was Toys for Bob who did all this. It's their fault. Listen, it's one aspect of their business model going forward. They absolutely are working on expansions or possible sequels to Hogwarts Legacy and other mainstay titles that will be tied in to the James Gunn DC universe coming within now and the next 10 years. I know that as a fact.
Do you think Sorry, you got me excited. Do you think they would hold on, I got to look at the live feed. Oh gosh, I love the head without the hat. I don't know, it looks awesome. You look more menacing. What was I going to say? Do you think there's going to be another? Do you think they'll make another Hogwarts game like that takes place in that? Like make a sequel, like a direct sequel to that?
It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed, but there are the hopes that they will move on to either an expansion or an actual full blown sequel.
That'd be awesome. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, but you said James Gunn, and I interrupted you.
James Gunn, like his Mai Tais, most of Mai Tais, excellent drinks, by the way. Most of Mai Tais are in Hollywood. And one of the things I can tell you for sure is that the James Gunn universe, part of the contract, which I'm sure if anybody had read into the contract properly, which I did, is that anything that's going to be represented on film will also be represented in video games, in animation, television shows, will all be carried by the same actors and actresses. For example, even voice work in video games, it was specified in the contract with the WB games that's saying, like with a WB game, if you have a new Batman game or a new Superman game, if Superman appears in the game, it will be voiced by the actor who's going to be playing in the new James Gunn Superman movie that comes out next year.
Really?
So, yes, that's a fact. That's an absolute fact. I've seen I've read the contract through thoroughly, and that is absolutely what's happening. Now, that being the case, that goes directly against what this clown is talking about with his live service games. Yes, it's going to be an aspect of their business moving forward. There's going to be live service elements. They're going to have mobile games, absolutely. But there is not one part of that where they're scrapping AAA single-player experiences. That is an absolute fact.
All right. I mean, it makes people think, like, would the next Batman game have Ben Affleck voicing it?
Well, that's gone. That's the Snyderverse. The Snyderverse is over.
Oh, wait. James Gunn? Well,
James Gunn is starting from scratch, and the first movie he's doing is the Superman movie.
So who's he going to have play Bruce Wayne?
Bruce Wayne, I don't know. And that's going to be when they do that
Tom
film.
Holland?
That's coming. No, there are some rumors out
Mark
there, but
Wahlberg?
I don't know for sure. They kept that pretty tight.
Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah, no, that actually no, they're too. No, they got to be a little more grisly.
The new Batman. The new Batman with Timothy Chalamet.
Can you imagine? Yeah, it's like, weren't you Wonka? But anyways, was he Willy Wonka? Yeah,
he's like, scratch that. reverse it.
Yeah.
Batman.
Listen, man, Ben Affleck was a great Batman. I thought he was a great Batman.
I agree. And I thought everyone made fun of Pattinson. Did I say his name right? Robert Pattinson? Oh, fantastic Batman.
I didn't like some of the aspects of the film. Like,
well,
for
you're
example,
off the show. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I didn't like the idea that Batman knocked on the door of the Penguins Club, and the bouncer answers the door, and he's like, "Hey, you know who I am?" The guy's like, "No." And then he like shut the door and locked it, and then Batman had to like re-knock on the door.
Well, wasn't he just wearing his street clothes in that scene?
No, there was one he was dressed up as Batman. Well, there was one he showed up as Bruce Wayne, and then he showed up as Batman. Batman would not have done that. Batman would have gone in to the Penguins' office on the whatever 30th something floor and would have been waiting for him behind a curtain. And then as soon as the Penguin came in and lit a cigar, he would have been like, "What did you do with the blah 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 blahs?" Right? Yeah. And then it would have scared the crap out of him. He wouldn't have knocked on the door. Yeah, like What are the drugs going? You know, he wouldn't have. Can you imagine Batman knocks on your door? Knock, knock, knock. Colteastwood. And be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, you're walking around in the broad daylight with a suit on. You look ridiculous.
What everybody actually wants to know is WB going to get back to the great Batman that they loved and not Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights? You think they got stung pretty hard this past 2 years?
Well, I would imagine so with the Justice League game. I would imagine they hopefully they've learned their lesson, or maybe they didn't learn their lesson, and maybe they're going to double down. Maybe they're going to disband Rocksteady. Who the hell knows what they're going to do? I don't know what they're going to do with that studio. Yeah. I do not know anything about that studio. I have no people there. I don't know anybody who works there. I don't know anything about what they're going to do in the future. I just know that they made an absolute dog crap game with absolutely. I just don't want to get into it. But anyways, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah, and Randall Thor played that over Cyberpunk.
That's kind of weird. But okay, all right, whatever Rand likes. That's up to him. Hey, okay, Colt, relax. But I can tell you
Sorry,
they're not done.
My blood pressure is going up a little high there.
Yeah.
The guy chose to play Suicide Squad over Cyberpunk.
Yeah, but you know what though? Hold on a second. But Rand
You're going to defend him?
No, but he plays everything. He's like a game locust. He goes through and he just rips through a game. 3 days later, he's like, "Oh, I'm done." And then he's on to the next game. "Oh, I'm done." And I'm done. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do it. I'm not a gaming locust.
Did you hear that, Red Wolf? Red Wolf, did you hear that? He played Suicide Squad instead of Cyberpunk. Are you listening to that? Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that he never played Cyberpunk at all?
He still never played it.
Oh, like not even like the original.
I don't mean to out a good friend, but Cyberpunk's like a whole thing. It's a whole. You know what, Red Wolf? You're not even listening. I
enjoyed the base game. I put in 130, 140 hours into the base game. I had a great time with it. I did not like the expansion. I found it really, really boring. Like, really boring.
Yeah, the, what was it called already? There was parts of it that were so slow. I was like, oh man, you had a good thing, but still great. The only reason why I give Rand a hard time is because I just want to talk to him day to day about his experience. So we razz him. Yeah, there he goes. Red says, I'm so mad. There we go. He is listening. Can I get a little bit toxic, Mag?
You want to? Go ahead.
Just a little bit. In 2018, Phil Spencer said, "We are building a world-class studio of games, a world-class family of studios," or something like that. I can't do his voice. We'll have Fonz do his voice. That's something we'll do that later on. Fonz is like got a little thing going when it comes to fake voices. Anyway. Phil said we're building a world-class suite of studios.
All right.
And all these guys said Xbox is buying all these studios, acquiring all these publishers just to shut them down, and cancel games. Since then, Platinum Games canceled their Scalebound efforts, which was in the dumpster. And that's it. That's pretty much it since 2018. They've shut down no studios, canceled one game, pretty much, as far as we know. PlayStation just canceled, or last year canceled, a game with Deviation Studios, former Treyarch and Call of Duty developers that went out and made their own AAA studio. They partnered with PlayStation to make a AAA shooter. PlayStation didn't like it, shut it down, or backed out. Deviation Studios just announced they're closing. They're not owned by PlayStation, but they're a direct partner, and now they're out of business. PlayStation has closed 4 of their studios this past year or two. What a difference. Where Xbox is in second or third place, they are hiring in their studios. PlayStation's in a really bad spot. as we praised them for an hour before early on in the show, but they have actually shuttered their studios and they are making big changes. And even with PlayStation, say they might bring their games down to $50 and make them a 2-part release. I would not be surprised, Mag, if Wolverine comes out for $50 and it's a 20-hour incredible experience, and then a year later, $50 to play part 2 of the cliffhanger, and yet for $100 you get this fantastic 40-hour total experience for something like Wolverine, or 50 hours, whatever it be. And I think that might be where the industry's going. Go ahead.
They're already doing that. That's already happening, and it's happening before everybody's eyes. And I think that with general inflation, and of course, I can tell you right now, it's the developers' salaries. I've said it a million times before, are driving everything through the roof, and games should actually be closer to $100 US because of that. And that's why what's happening is they're buckling right now, and they're buckling because they're trying to afford these people not only just playing, making 150, 160, $120,000 US a year, whatever, making games, but it's also taken them 6 years to do it, 7 years to do it. That is not sustainable. Those salaries are not sustainable for that period of time to get that kind of a return on it. And that's what the problem is. So what I think is, at the end of the day, the games actually should reflect about closer to $100. And I know people don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that either. But guess what? I also don't want to pay 4 times the price for eggs. But I am paying 4 times the price for eggs. Okay? So that's what's happening right now in this world. Anyway, we're getting hosed out the ass, especially up here in Canada. Shout out to Justin Trudeau, you asshole, with your carbon tax, which he's raising again on April 1st, by the way, prick. And then the thing is, on April 1st, April Fool's Day, perfect day for him.
You drive a Tesla, you son of a gun. I couldn't think of the name.
I drive a Tesla because it's 500 horsepower. I'm not trying to save the planet. Planet's going to be here after we're gone.
Don't you pay out at the yin yang for your tabs? Do you have license tabs over there in Canada? Probably don't even know what I'm talking about. You don't have to put some expensive $250 sticker on your car license plate every year like we do. It's like $500 a year for Tesla.
No, we have to. No, we don't. No, we do. Okay. We do our things. Okay. Anyways, the point is, we're paying for all this stuff. What I'm saying is, it may reflect closer to $100. And you know how they're getting it? They're getting it without people even really realizing it, because they're taking advantage of FOMO. And they're taking
let's talk about that FOMO. I forgot what your stance is on that.
WWE 2K 24 whatever. Okay, you want to play it 4 days early? $100, right? And so you get a ton of hardcore. Go out there and play it early. Call of Duty, you want to play it early? You want to get the Vault Edition or whatever the hell it's called? $139, $129, whatever.
Does that bother you?
No, I don't care, because it's an option. It's an option. People can do what they want. I can wait 3 days, or maybe I can't wait 3 days. Right? And so, it depends on the game. And then the thing is,
didn't we talk about that being people saying that's anti-consumer a couple weeks ago?
It's not. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It's a choice. You don't have to do it. Like a Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out. I was so excited, and I was so bone dry for games during that time that I paid $119 to play it 4 days early or 5 days early, whatever it was, because I also got the DLC package with it. And I paid $120 for it. I had no problem with it. So the thing is, in a way, by doing this FOMO release, which they've been doing with all the big releases lately, you can't help but notice the trend. They're getting their $100. It has, Colt and chat. And
I like it.
Happening.
I like it because
and they're getting their $100 one way or another.
I think it's it's a non-invasive way to make up that deficit that you're talking about, where they need to make more money, because it's funny to see Forza Horizon 5, a lot of people, millions of people want to play it. And they're like, get it 3 days early with the $100 edition. Plus you get the future content that comes out, whether you play it or not, who cares? But you get it early. And all these people line up, ching, 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 and they line up to get it because they want to play it. Now, that probably bothers the people who don't want to shell out for early access. That's why I put a poll up. Because then, it's not fair. All those people are playing early. They're going to level up quicker, and they're going to be way ahead of everyone. Have already played and talked about the content, and
that does suck. That you know what? I will agree with you there, and the chat. I see that it's actually overwhelmingly no, but I don't think it's overwhelmingly no because of choice. I think it's overwhelmingly no because a lot of people are idiots out there, and they spoil games. They put story points in the titles of their YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where I get pissed off. When I get pissed off, like even with my Hollywood guys, like for example, I know a lot of people. I have the Fallout series, by the way, and I know a lot of people who've already finished the Fallout series. It doesn't come out for another month, but they already know what's happening. So you know what's going to happen day one? They're doing spoiler casts.
You have access to watch it already?
Yeah, I already got the whole series.
Okay, I'll be over on Friday.
So. Yes, I'm not going to talk about a damn thing, and I don't actually.
Fawn says it's a scummy business practice, and that's what I love about opening up our mouths on the show. Because just 5 minutes ago, I'm like, I think it's great because if you have the choice or the money, like you can have the game early, and that money goes and helps a game sell even more money. I was going to say about Forza because it's on Game Pass, so people are like, I don't care if it's free, I want it early. But Fawn says it's a new scummy business practice, and I'm starting to learn, as you talk in the chat, a perspective I don't normally look at.
That's what having discussions are all about. We can all have differing opinions. It doesn't make us, exactly. It doesn't make us idiots, or people can say in the chat that's a bad take, Mag. No problem. That's good. That's what discussion is all about. Healthy discussion about these things is not a problem, and I invite that. If I have an opinion and you have a different opinion, or someone in the chat has a different opinion, that's no problem.
Stop attacking people. Stop personally attacking people.
I don't know if he's being funny or not, but the game adaptation newscast. He's like, "Shut up, Meg." I don't know. I mean, if he's being serious,
funny. He's being funny. He was just doing what I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fine. Like,
but
you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. Yeah. And I can have a differing opinion. I say it's not a problem except for the spoilers. That's the only thing that bothers me. But if people want to pay extra to get it early, that's where it pisses me off. Like, for example, like I said, a lot of the people that I know that have the big YouTube channels have already finished the Fallout series. And what's happened is they already know the ending. They already know what happens. They already know what's going on. And then when it releases, that morning, they're already going to have Fallout TV series spoiler casts, live spoiler casts on the air. They're going to be, and that's not fair because people don't have the chance to even if you sat up and waited till midnight for the release of all, because it's not going out week to week, right? It's going to be all released in one shot. No one even has time to watch all those episodes before, you know what I mean? Before someone launches a full spoiler cast, so to speak, right? But as for choice, Fonz is not wrong either. It is scummy because they're taking advantage of people's FOMO.
Yeah, but you're right.
It's still an option that you do not have to partake in.
Wow, that was
you don't have to do it.
That kind of makes me feel bad.
The spoilers do suck. The spoilers do suck. You'd have to stay offline for like a week and be like, all right, screw off. I'm not going to read anything. Or you know how you put keywords that you don't want to hear on your feeds?
Yeah. So you can mute them.
Block certain things. So you can mute them. That's fine. I mean, you do that. But, Fawn's not wrong. I'm not wrong. You're not wrong. And the chat's not wrong. We all have different opinions, but we're all right in our own way.
Yeah, I mean, listen to this whole argument. I could say the poll is actually pretty illustrative of what it actually is. It's not really, it's an okay thing and it's not an okay thing all at the same time. And there's like you said, you detailed it out pretty well. I just didn't really think of it that way.
A lot of people, by the way, and a lot of, I know like, people are not happy with the idea of what I was saying about $100 games. I'm not talking about from me. I'm telling you what they're thinking and what they're saying because I actually talk to these people. I actually talk to project managers. I talk to people who work in these studios, and this is exactly what they're telling me. This is their mindset, not mine. I am literally just mirroring and echoing what they're already telling me. And this is why they're doing or why they say what they're saying. So it's not like a take. I'm just telling you their perspective. So that's basically just to add some clarification to what I'm saying.
Yeah, and put even more simple, Mag, they're paying 2 times the amount for the studios. Instead of paying them for 3 years, they're paying them for 6 years. And the games are selling the same amount of units as they always do. If you've got a game that sells 3 million copies and it's successful, we just got a report from Sean Layden, formerly of PlayStation, who was there when Spider-Man 1 launched, not there for Spider-Man 2, but he said, I think I have his quote here. Let me see. Let me look. Come on, where is it? Hold on. He said that Spider-Man, I don't even see it here. I'll just go off of memory. I'm sorry. He said that Spider-Man cost $30 million over budget. It was supposed to be $270 million, and it ballooned up to $300 million because it went over budget and over time. So he said just now they announced they are over 7 million units sold. He said they're barely eked into the profitability territory, which is something that Mag here said on the show like 2 months ago. And Sean Layden is saying that. He said they haven't reported their numbers or they haven't reported the success of the Spider-Man 2 thing yet. He said they have not spoken about it. That's like what I pasted in my notes, and I don't have it, but I'm remembering almost word for word that even Spider-Man 2, which was really successful, and a lot of that money is going to the franchise, and the game costs way more. Like $30 million is a lot of money when you're looking at profit margins, which are already razor thin. So, yeah. Yes. Anyway.
Wild Samurai, you're absolutely right. I know you're making a joke, but he says AI will make games cheaper, right? Right? Yes, they will. And it's coming sooner than you think.
Yeah. So, that's kind of an issue with the game development. And this is why we're hearing that Final Fantasy 16, Ghost of Tsushima, and Last of Us 2 are coming to PC by the end of this year from PlayStation. So Sean Layden did say, and I'm sure people here are watching, hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We got a little over 700 watching live. Sean Layden used to work at PlayStation until about 2019, 2020. I'm trying to remember when Jim Ryan took over for his short, 3-year stint. But Sean Layden was in an interview and on a PlayStation podcast recently. And he said exclusives will always be important. This is the same thing that Peter Moore said, who led the Xbox platform during the 360 era. They both said the exclusives were important, but Sean Layden also said, Mag, that they are the Achilles heel. If you have a $250 million game, you have to sell as many games as possible, even if it means putting them on other platforms to sell just 10% more copies somewhere else, just to make it into profitability territory. So, yeah. That's kind of how it's sitting.
And publishers and studios are going to have very hard decisions to make in the near future because, again, it is a ballooning cost of living, expense cost of living that's costing them profit. And now they're going to they're reaching a crossroads. And that's what we're all witnessing right now. We are witnessing the crossroads of an industry that is going to continue to make trillions of dollars. There's no question of it. But the way that they make the trillions is changing directly before our eyes. And it's a very interesting time for all of us to be witnessing all this, right? So that's what's really kind of cool about it, and not so cool because a lot of people are going to lose their jobs because technology is going to be the way that they're going to have to go. But at the same time, they're wondering, and do we let all these people go and focus on the technology and the AI to bring the cost down? Yeah, sure, it's an initial cost up front of being able to put forth the technology and to have it implemented into the development of their games. Or do you ruin the lives of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people? Well, if you look at the history over the last couple of years since COVID ended, so to speak, and they hired in all departments of the tech industry during the shutdowns, and they don't seem to have a problem letting people go. So I don't think that that's going to be an issue across the board. You look at Apple, Microsoft, tens and tens of thousands of people being laid off. They don't do it all at once. They do it in waves, but it's happening. And all the big companies are doing it. Sony, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they've all done it. They're going to do it again. In order to bring down the costs of these games and also keep the customers' expectations at a certain level, this is where they're going to have to make that decision and say, do we open up the market to multi-platform and risk losing sales of whatever, your PlayStation 6?
Of your hardware, yeah.
Of your hardware. Let's say your hardware. I was talking specifically about PlayStation, but yeah, sure, Xbox too. Do we risk putting the game, or do we put everything everywhere to maximize our profits and keep all the humans working and possibly lose the risk of selling our hardware and keeping people in our ecosystem? Or do we let go of those people and rely more on technology and then have the minimal amount of people to bring the cost down and have them pumped out more efficiently and then keep things more exclusive? This is a decision they're going to have to make moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's not out of the realm of possibility. You brought up Tesla about 20 minutes ago. Tesla cars are not made by humans. They're made by robots. The entire factory is, if you actually go and watch it on Google, it's actually quite, on Google, Jesus Christ, on YouTube, it's actually quite remarkable. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying, because that could be thousands of people's jobs. Those are people that they make good money in that industry, right? And those are people who are trying to support their families and everything else. However, the fact is, those cars are all being made by robots, and there's like 10 people inside the office, basically watching over the machines, making sure they're doing their job. Twitter, same thing. Ironically, they're both owned by Elon Musk, but I'm just saying, he fired like 80% of the staff. I mean, they're sitting around having latte days and cry-in sessions, but he fired them all. But guess what? Twitter is now run by like a skeleton crew of people, and it hasn't gone down. You know what I mean? It's running just fine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's running fine. I'm sure they're starting to lose less money, but
you see what I'm saying? And look at YouTube. YouTube's not run by humans. You could say certain words in a certain pattern. Yeah, and certain words in certain patterns. And what ends up happening, Colt? It catches those words and puts them together in an algorithm and then blocks you or bans you or demonetizes you based on a certain progression of words that you say. There's not a guy sitting there with his finger on the block button or the demonetize button waiting for Colteastwood to say something ridiculous.
Well,
and then he presses he goes, oh, I've been waiting for this day. Yeah! And then presses the demonetize on Colteastwood. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the chat's kind of alight about this discussion when it comes to jobs being replaced by technology or automation, but the reality of automation in our world is that it reduces jobs while also creating different industries or different vocations for people.
It sucks, man. It sucks because you look at the towns and cities look at Detroit. Okay, look at near where I live. There's a place called Oshawa. It's basically the Motor City of like Ontario, Canada, which is a capital of this this country. And they shut down a GM plant or whatever. It's over. The town is ruined. Look at what happened to Detroit. The state was destroyed after those. Remember, the people were starving to death, literally, after those places shut down and people lost their jobs and their livelihoods and their money and their homes. Yeah. I'm not saying it's good. Please don't, misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm saying it is the inevitability and the reality because they don't care about you. They don't. They care about money.
Microsoft and Sony, they care about having a group of people or a large army of people making products for them and moving the industry forward. But they also understand that some of the development has gone ballooned out of control, how long it takes to make things. And if you're overlooking a studio and you're thinking, how many labor hours are we spending to code and program? How much of that can be automated? And if you can cut down the time it takes to make a game, you cut down, like Mag said, how much it costs. And so what I want to see in the future is what Matt Booty said, like automation and programming or coding and testing, stuff that they bring in contractors for and then let them move on to something else and get that automated. Because as fans, we're waiting far too long to play games because they just take so long to make because we have a certain expectation.
Cole, I hope they don't care how long you wait. They don't care how long you wait. That's not what they care about.
Sure.
They care about the fact that it's taking too long for them to make money off of it. They don't care that Colt Eastwood's twiddling his thumbs or he's got a fidget spinner on the couch waiting for Gear 6 to come out. They don't care how long you're waiting. They just care that you're not spending money.
When Phil says, I hear you, we want to be more consistent with our releases, they also mean we also want to be more consistent so you can be happy and we can be making money off those purchases because that's just the reality of how it goes. If you make something, if I'm going to paint a picture or draw something and I want to put it on a store to sell it, I can't wait for it to be done so I can make money off it and people can say, hey, I really enjoyed that. But
sure. And happy customers pay more money.
Yeah.
Because if you pay money, and this is just simple chemistry, like just brain chemistry. Okay? It's an endorphin rush. If I pay for a service, whatever service that may be, and I really enjoyed it, you want to experience that again, the pleasure. Right? The pleasure of that. It's a hormonal thing. You're like, wow, I had such a great experience and I had such a great time. Let's do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for all different aspects of life, whether it comes to food, to love, to whatever, physical stuff, and whatever else. It's all part of the same thing. It's an endorphin rush. It's part of the brain. And like I said, happy customers keep paying more money. And the way to do that is by releasing good, consistent product that people want to have, and they will continuously pay. That is all it boils down to. There's no mystery to this. There's no emotion to this. There's nothing to this except for that. Because they are literally designed to make money. They don't care about you. They don't care about what you're doing. They don't care if you live or die. They don't care if you lose your home. They don't know you.
Wow.
They just want to make money because they have a family to feed as well. And they've got things to do and whatever else.
The most important thing for us and for all you guys watching, right, and all of you people watching, the most important thing is that there's going to be automation. There'll be some things cut or some corners or people will be laid off. But the most important thing is the people that are there that make and create and cultivate. Like Ken Levine working on Judas, like he's got his vision, he's got his team, and that team is going to craft that world the way that he loves, the way that we love. And that's what I want to see from those studios. And if they automate some things, but there's still those great creative people that are working at the studios that make those games feel fantastic, make us feel like we're in the world. That's the most important thing. And we get into the weeds about the business stuff sometimes, and maybe it's none of our business if they automate things. Just in the end, it would be nice if games come out a year earlier and they're just as great because the people that do the creation make them fantastic. Because, you know, a character only looks amazing because someone took the time to really build it and show their talent and their craft. So
those people will be there.
Yeah.
And those people will continue to be there. I'm not saying those people ain't going anywhere. The people that they're actually the story makers, the creators, the people who come up with the ideas, they will always be there. A lot of the other stuff, the coloring of trees, the this and the that, the animations, the storyboards, all that stuff, that's all going to be replaced. Yeah. But the creative minds behind it are never going to be replaced. They're always going to be the ones that are going to be put there and they say, listen, you know, I have a great idea for this, that, and the other. That you cannot replace. That is part of the human experience. That can never be replaced, right? No way. Yeah. Have you read like a story created by AI? Because it uses like examples of like past whatever, and it takes it all, it puts it all into a big pot, and then it makes a soup out of it, and then you read it, and you're like, what the hell is this thing even talking about? Like, you know,
yeah.
And but. The human element will never be replaced in that respect. It's like composing music, any of that kind of stuff. It's all stuff that we do. It's all part of who we are, right? And it's all part of our heart and soul and our minds. That will never be replaced. However, that is such a small aspect. It's just the tip of the iceberg is the creation and the idea and all this stuff. Creating and putting this all into fruition is where it costs a fortune because you need an army of people to do it. Mm-hmm. A movie maker can come up with an incredible idea for a movie, write a great script, and that's like 2 guys or gals or whatever can come up with that movie. But all of a sudden, it takes 5,000 people to make that movie, to put that movie on the film.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're losing the money. It's not the creative minds. It's the 5,000 people that it takes to be on set, doing this, doing the lights, the guy holding the big stick, the whatever else, you know, the boom mic guy, this guy, that guy, the editors, those are the people the caterers.
That's just not, you can't automate the people that when Marty McFly walks into the living room, like everything looks like 1985 or 1955 or whatever, right? Like this is the magic of movies and games. And it's just what makes it what we love. I want to say, but you know, anyways, I want to move on to talk about how ABK actually has a massive advantage for us as Xbox fans that is supposed to be coming soon. Before I do that, I want to read a couple supers here. We got Udana Kazadi who says, middle-aged shaved game guy.
Oh, yeah, I know.
MCGG.
I'll color my beard next week, see if you guys like it.
Right. Well, we're getting so old. Red Wolf, who's been a channel member for 22 months. Red Wolf, if you're still here, I don't know if you're still here. I'm kind of behind. I was looking through my phone and I found a screenshot of you and Assassin and I playing Fortnite, like when we first met, you and I. Yeah, the very first time we got on a party chat and we played like 5 sessions of Fortnite. And I was like, there's just something about this guy. He's just crazy enough. I might talk to him again. Thank you for the super, he says, or for the channel member chat. He says, Colt, you need to start promoting my idea of creating playlists that fit the theme of video games. It's elevating and game changing. Absolutely it is. Gaz from Septic Sauce is playing Cyberpunk right now on my recommendation to play Cyberpunk with the original Blade Runner Vangelis soundtrack plus the Hans Zimmer soundtrack from Blade Runner 2049. I think that's Hans Zimmer. Yeah. But I would highly recommend, if you're playing a video game that you really like an open world game, and there's not a lot of music in it, go to Spotify and launch it in the background and find like a playlist that goes with it. Like I was playing Valhalla and I went and looked up Norwegian fantasy music, and I just started playing it, and it played like this orchestral music that kind of somehow can go over the music and be just fine, and it just really gets you in the mood. I don't know. It's just a thing I started doing. But no, you don't want to play Korn and Limp Bizkit and Ed Sheeran while you're playing games. It doesn't really work.
Well, when you're playing Valhalla, you can play Norwegian death metal. Like, that's awesome. You know, like the guys that burn churches down and stuff?
Yeah, those guys are amazing.
Like the what do they call it? Black metal? They call it black metal, like the Satan worshippers.
The gefilte fish.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like the lead singer like finishes a concert and then burns a church down. I don't know why that's funny.
That's my lineage. So... The Norwegians are my lineage, bro. Yeah.
Madness. Yeah. Anyways, carry on.
Mash, a member of 1 month, says Batman is bad A. He uses stairs and elevators, never escalators. You can't be bad A if you're not on an escalator. He's like,
it's taking too long.
Rachel. Who was it? I think Fawn said that Christian Bale was the worst Batman. Come on.
Well, he was an outstanding Bruce Wayne, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But the voice was getting a little ridiculous by the end. Like it was a little
sticking
bit
his
too
tongue
much
out.
Yeah, and then when they start, what is it? College Humor started making fun of that specific Batman. I'm not the hero that you need, but the one that you want. No, it's backwards. The other way around. Yeah, and then, like that guy.
Alfred,
that was really. Yeah.
I need you to get rid of a dead body. And make me a grilled cheese. Oh, he hung up.
Yeah.
Septic Sauce, who's been a channel member for 36 months. Oh. He says, I have 8 sources telling me that the sequel to Redfall is coming to PS5, and it's a prequel to Quake.
That's perfect. That tracks.
That tracks. 8 sources? That's 4 more than the last one we heard about. So that tracks. Yeah. Make sure you tweet at Septic Sauce.
Yeah. Hey, Bradward Fight. Why don't you tag him? Why don't you tag Gaz in one of your 8 million tweets? Bradward Fight, I want you to tag Gaz and then put something insane like that. 8, whatever the hell it was. Yeah, 8 sources said that, yes.
That Redfall
is a prequel, and it's a prequel to Quake. There it is, yes.
Yeah, there it is. And Gaz will mess with me once in a while. He's like, Bradward Fight quoted me again. I'm like, yeah, he does it.
No, do it all the time, dude.
Yep.
I want at least 9 or 10 quote tweets with Gaz's name on it. Carry on.
You and I say so many things out of pocket, and Brad jumps on that stuff, and when I read it like an hour after the show, I'm like, whew.
I don't even remember what I said 10 minutes ago. I was screaming about AI and people losing their jobs, and now I'm just like, okay, it's whatever. I don't even know what the hell I was talking about.
Shout out happy birthday to Sith Lord, who probably is
Sith
already
Lord.
in bed, but shout out happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, you old bastard. Love you.
Just one day older. Crippling Debt with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Crippling Debt. Says also the main spoiler wise with early access. Yeah. It's technically 4 days early. Friday instead of Tuesday is the problem. Yes. Where the average worker, 4 days becomes 7, a lot of time for spoiling. This used to be a major problem for me when I was working in the office. They would put out a game early on a Tuesday or whatever it was. Because games usually came out Thursday at midnight for me.
Yes.
They would put that game out on a Tuesday, and I just wouldn't have time to play it when I got home from work. And this is a problem.
And if you get gaming locusts like Randall Thor, who finishes the game, it could be a 13-hour game and Rand finishes it in 6.
Like, I was just on party chat with him. He goes, hey, this Geometry Survivor game came out. It's Geometry Wars, but it's like Vampire Survivor. It's like a crossover. And it's really cool. And we were in party chat, and 20 minutes later, I kid you not. I'm not even, it's not even hyperbole. He goes, well, I just beat the game. I go, what? He goes, you have to survive for 20 minutes and you beat the game. And I'm like, it's over? He goes, yeah, I'm done. I'm like, you just okay. Play
It's probably
Cyberpunk.
an 8-hour. It's probably an 8-hour game, but he finished it in 20 minutes. That's
Right.
what he does. That's what he's like. Yeah, I finished it. I'm like, dude, they haven't even finished.
you
Already
even-
finished Hellblade, by the way.
Did you even taste your food?
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, he actually. By the way, you can quote this. Randall Thor has already finished Hellblade 2, and it doesn't come out for another 2 months. He's already finished it. That's how fast he finishes games. So yes, the spoiler thing is a problem. It's and that's why I get pissed off.
You know what he does to me? He's like, Colt, can I tell you what happened in the game? Can I tell you the story? I'm like, no, I'm gonna play. No, can I tell you? I just want to tell you a few things. I'm like, nope.
I don't want to hear anything. I mean, I hear things from like, people when they talk about games and stuff, and I know what weapon the girl uses in South of Midnight, stuff like that. I'm not gonna tell people all that stuff because like, and not all the time. I don't want to hear all that stuff because sometimes I just was like, I just kind of want to experience it, but it's just But yeah, you're right. And then when I got guys like who've already finished Fallout, and I haven't started it yet, and I'm like, guys, you already finished it. Like, I haven't even watched one episode yet, and I know the general public won't see it for another month. But I mean, we got it, so I'm like, can you just relax? Like, let me watch it. And then when I do watch it, guess what? I'm not going to say a peep. And I'm not even going to say if it's good or not, because that's not fair either. To me, that's a spoiler.
Somebody Google how long it'll take me to drive from Washington State to Toronto area to watch the Fallout TV show
actually
with Mag.
Quite a bit. It's about a 4-hour flight, so, But yeah, so like the thing is, at the end of the day, I'm not even going to say if it's good or bad, because good or bad is a spoiler to me. I will not say a damn word. I'm just going to say nothing. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, you can wait till April and you can watch the show for yourself. That's it. But the super chat is absolutely
how much
right.
have you watched?
I haven't. I just haven't.
Okay. Hargit Johnny with a $5 super chat says, since I don't have FOMO, I'm not on social media, and it totally doesn't bother me if Day comes out a few days earlier, along with DLC for more money. Okay, so that doesn't affect Hargit.
That's another take too. Like I said, we're all, well, most of us are, pretty average, responsible, sort of mature adults that can all have different opinions, and that's cool, man.
Yeah, and I'm on social media a lot, and I don't see spoilers. I don't know. I guess I've seen something where somebody writes something to spoil it on purpose, and I just kind of move my eyes. I just go like this.
Yeah. Do that.
Well, that's going to be a screenshot.
And I avoid certain podcasts that I know they're going to spoil, said movie, said show, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear that stuff either, right? And so, like, I don't want to hear anything. So when I talk, like, again, I'm going to bring up Fallout again, only because the poster's right behind your head. I told the guys, I'm like, listen, man, when you watch it, I don't want to hear a goddamn word. Don't say it was great. Don't say it was bad. Don't say it was okay. Say nothing.
Say nothing.
Say nothing until I'm done. When I'm done, we can speak. I'm like, just don't say anything, because then you're going to piss me off. You're going to say,
I'm so malleable, though, Mag. If I want somebody to say, it's really good, can't wait for you to watch it, or say,
by next week,
I didn't.
By next week, I'll already have finished it. Right? So the series, because it's Monday. I got 7 days, easily finish it. So that's not an issue. But the thing is, I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to tell you a damn thing, not even off the air. I'm going to be like, no, Colt, Eastwood, you can watch it April 11th when it comes out.
All right, fine, I will. FOMO. Udani Kazada, thank you so much for the $2 super chat to give out Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. I think that's released for 1 month.
Hey, nice. Very good.
Spartan 661, thank you so much for the 10. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel and what we do here on XNC. And even though I'm here, but thanks for supporting Mag. He appreciates it. And yeah, he's amazing. Spartan says, I don't mind some of the Xbox games going to other platforms to spread the word of the Book of X. I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not happy if they play better on the other platforms. That's a first-party game on an Xbox console. Well, Sea of Thieves is launching on PlayStation with an anti-cheat initiative, something they never did for the Xbox and PS5 version.
Really?
That's like, it's like, come on. And you had the whole Pentiment thing where it was a bug where it was supposed to run at 120. But
that's not really a performance game. Like,
I know you can have all these excuses, but the reality is that they made the PS5 version and then both of them got a 120 hertz mode. So you can essentially say, thanks to the PlayStation 5, Pentiment got an improved mode to play it on console. And it's just kind of like, it goes with that second-class citizen thing, which I think has a little bit of merit. So Grandpa Barbecuers, Game Cat gifted 1 channel membership. Thank you for doing that. And Darth Vinyl 93, thank you for the 5, says, have either of you seen info or specs on the Xbox rumored handheld? Love the show. Keep up the awesome work. Meg,
Yes.
I'll put that one to you. I did a video, but it was based off of our previous discussions and some other...
nothing has changed in respect to what I had heard about, and you, I think, and some other people about how the Surface team was working on a dockable handheld.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, like what Sarah Bond was talking about at the little soiree, I'm not really sure if that was it or if she's talking about something else. I have no idea. But that's the one thing I heard.
Meg didn't say a lot about a month ago about the handheld other than saying
no, that's
colloquially, right? That it would be in line with that era's Series S. Like it would be a lower spec next generation console to be the handheld, right?
Yeah. Now, the thing is, there was something I did hear after the fact about a week later, but that was more, I don't know if that was wishful thinking or just something that they were spitballing, was the idea that they wanted to try and keep it around the same power as the under the TV console. Or they were shooting to have it as the same performance.
Oh, really?
Power. Yeah.
I reported that it would be like a Series S version in 2026 or whatever.
Sure. And that would be more likely the reality of the situation. And the thing is, what's funny actually with a lot of people, and I know people say, oh, well, the trust me, bro, this and that. Mm-hmm. There are also YouTube channels out there that have literally millions and millions of subscribers who have all said the same thing. And actually, it's funny. Some of them actually, one of them even actually cited me and saying, yeah, I heard it from Mag first, but then they also caught wind of the same thing. And these are people with one of the guys had 6.7 million subs. I'm pretty sure that guy's got a few connections. So that guy was saying the same thing as I was, but he didn't call me the Mag, by the way. He just called me Mag. I was very upset. But anyways, in all seriousness, the only thing we know is that there's a possibility that the Surface team, not Jason Ronald, is working on this dockable handheld thing for next generation, and it'll be a subsequent SKU next to the under the TV model, which is now currently the Series X.
Yeah, and I would add to that I haven't heard a whole lot about the stuff that Mag just reported on for the who's working on what or how it's going to be, but I would think it wouldn't be out of the realm of the ordinary if the teams were continuing to work together like they did. Maybe they're going to kind of take a new approach with the handheld side of the dual hardware launch, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jason and his team was still working on it or in concert with Surface. And the good thing about Meg and I talking about these leaks, yeah, right, yeah. And the good thing about us talking about these is we want to post this as, hey, we've heard some things, but here's what could happen. Here's what we personally think could happen. And it's all kind of up in the air until we hear official news. And maybe something like that never comes to public. They just make the console and it's it doesn't matter who worked on it. Here it is and enjoy it. But yeah,
it could be still on the drawing board. Could not even be out there. Could be something that never comes out at all. It could be something that you just discussed. It could, who the hell knows? We don't know. It
kind of lands in those the list of these code names and stuff. It's kind of in that weird flux area. And I appreciate you I appreciate you a lot for giving us kind of the stuff you're hearing so we can kind of get it out there because we're on a podcast. There's some speculation and I really want us to be as grounded as possible and to not, I don't know, it's fine. It's early days. And I've been talking to Red Gaming Tech, who is a UK based PlayStation and PC tech YouTuber. And him and I have been DMing each other back and forth. He's super cool. He's got I don't know, I think 140,000 subs or something. You can check out his channel. Not only is he from the UK, but he's ripped. I shouldn't say this. He's ripped. He's a body, he looks like a legit bodybuilder. He'll post up pictures on social and he's huge. This guy is all about health and fitness and video games. And he knows I'm an Xbox guy and he's been super cool and just saying, hey, here's what I'm hearing. Hey, have you seen this report? Not so much leak stuff, but we're reconnecting here. There we go. We'll get some concrete information so everybody kind of understands where the hardware's going. So you can what can I be excited about or not? Let's see. We got the Longhouse Gaming Podcast, also known as our good friend, the Black Viking, who I talk to a lot on socials. He's got a podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm going to be on there this Thursday with him and Holly as long as everything goes to plan, but I'll be a little bit late. He knows that. So he says, you guys keep up the great work. Gang, he says, thank you so much for that, Black Viking. And a really awesome super from Lotus Esprit. They sent $50. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys so much, and everybody for supporting what we're doing. Red goes, that thing is massively huge, which is a quote that Fonz uses of me talking on the channel. Let me say this: the ABK thing, Activision and Blizzard is supposed to put their games on Game Pass really soon, but there's an interesting advantage, Mag, with the new Activision Blizzard deal, and that is the entire suite of Call of Duty games from the past 15 to 16 years are coming to Game Pass either in one big lump drop on Game Pass this year, or they'll segment it out. But the funny thing about this, Mag, is that the majority of the Call of Duty games coming to Xbox and Game Pass are exclusive to the Xbox and PC platform. I don't know if you knew this, but the majority of the Call of Duty games are not available on PS5. And do you know what I'm talking about when I say that?
I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I'm talking about the greatest and the brightest Call of Duty titles in the history of Call of Duty.
Oh, you
reign
mean like
supreme.
compatibility?
Yes, because of back and pat.
Oh, okay. I'm sitting there going, they had marketing deals.
So this is going to be strange, right? Because take your minds back 10, 15 years or whatever to the good old days when life was good, McDonald's was cheap, and it cost $1.50 to fill your gas tank, right? I'm talking Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3 from 2011, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Let me know, chat. What are some of the other games? That's like 6 Call of Duty games that only released on the 360 and PS3 and didn't go up or get remastered. Like those Modern Warfare remasters are different, right? So like the classic where everybody cut their teeth on Call of Duty, those games are only going to be available if you own an Xbox Series S or X.
I never thought of that. Yeah, I never thought of that.
Call of Duty 4, that's Modern Warfare, right? Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
That was the original. Yeah.
Do you remember what were the big ones you were playing on PS3 and 360 back in the days when everybody called you foul names?
I only played on 360. I never played Call of Duty on PlayStation. I played Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Black Ops 1 and 2, World at War. I think that was it. Wasn't that it for 360? Because then after that, like Ghost was on Xbox One.
Yeah, it was an 8-year cycle, so it would be probably 8. Ghost was the start of the PS4 and Xbox One, and I didn't like it. So Achilles Prime says, Mag, is there any news on WoW coming to PC? To Game Pass Ultimate?
Oh, I have no idea. No, I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything?
No. I mean, Jez has been kind of championing for it, and he's kind of said some things, so maybe he knows that like it's something they want to do. Achilles, I don't really know, but
like I haven't heard anything. Colt hasn't heard anything, and if Jez is like kind of championing, like trying to get them to move on it, that would be my guess that they haven't done a damn thing about it.
Yeah, it's probably something
it'll still be PC, I think.
Yeah, maybe it seems like something they would do on PC Game Pass. Yeah.
Do people still pay monthly for World of Warcraft? I don't even know.
I think they do because our friend Zocker is still losing his life and his free time to it. He's in a guild and everything.
I could see them putting it on PC Game Pass, and you have to pay a premium, like another tier, to pay for that. You know what I mean?
Achilles, the thing that yes, I do know what you mean. Achilles, the thing that Jez has also been championing is to bring the game to console because he thinks that you can do that on a controller, and they've done other games in that vein on controller. He's advocating for that. That's something I don't know if Xbox would do, but I think they'd be stupid to let that go by and not bring World of Warcraft Classic or the new one. So,
Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 We
Yes.
literally had this discussion last week where I had someone sent me a picture of it. I had the Modern Warfare 3 Xbox 360, the themed console.
I think
with
that's
the
all of them.
camouflage controllers. Yeah, so that
Modern
would be
Warfare
it.
1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Black Ops 1, 2, and 3. Because all three of those were in that generation.
Are you sure? I thought Black Ops 3 was
Oh,
the
no,
next
you're
gen.
right. Yeah, 3 launched on the PS4 because they had the custom console. Okay.
The custom console.
World at War.
Yeah.
That's 7. So there could be one missing because Call of Duty's second game
3
was on the 360. What's that?
Call of Duty 3.
I have that
was on
counted.
there.
So there's at least 7. What am I missing, guys? Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3, Black Ops 1 and 2, and World at War. What's missing?
No, I meant Call of Duty 3. Like actually number 3.
Was
not
that on the
Modern
360?
Warfare. I believe so.
Yeah, that's 8 then.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if there were any. I think the Spyro games and the Crash games all got PS4 and Xbox One versions. So, yeah. Spartan661, thank you for the $2 super chat. He goes, I used to whine about my $5 got me 3 gallons of gas. Yeah. I mean, I'm super old. When I was first driving, gas was not like around 99 cents. So when I drove a little hatchback, a Dodge Colt, my namesake. I would just walk in and hand him a $10 bill. $10 on pump 5, I think. I used to always. Now you just put a card in. You'd walk in and pay. Back then, you'd walk in and be like, do 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 do, Mr. Sandman, and then the guys would come around, bring bring, and they, so you don't want me to wipe your windshield? Yeah, when I used to be in high school. Hey, Mag, real quick, did you know that if Back to the Future movie came out today, Marty McFly would go all the way back to 1994 to see his parents in high school?
That's the year I graduated high school. Like, screw off, Back to the Future. Stop bringing this stuff up. Yeah. So, yeah, it would basically be the year. Yeah, that's the year I graduated high school and went to University of Toronto.
So think about it. Like, no cell phones.
That's crazy.
There's no cell phones. Well, in 94.
Yeah, Motorola.
My buddy had like the big brick one in 95, but nobody had phones, like maybe 3 people, right? So there was really no cell phones. There was almost no internet.
No, I don't think there was internet.
Not really. Like, it wasn't ubiquitous at all. But technology wasn't that bad. Everyone had CD players. And we were playing on a Super Nintendo back then in 94.
Oh, that's crazy.
Can you imagine going back and you're like, what's this? It's a baby's toy. So that's the show today. I didn't want to string it out any longer. I told Mag we'd probably be short, but you guys are so amazing, and I could sit here and talk all night with Mag. Mag, thank you so much for the show tonight. Tell everybody where they can find you, how they can follow you, and your last days on TikTok.
Yeah, right. I've actually been really quiet with the content because real life work has gone insane. So I'm trying to settle everything down. So I'm going to start making content again and some videos and skits and things of that nature and whatever. I'll get back into that. But as of for now, you guys know where to find me. You know where to find me online as well, and gaming and everything else. So it's been a great talk. It's been a great time. And we'll be here next Monday to talk about it again. And hopefully we'll get some news between now and then. We usually do. So we'll have a good time. And you game hard, chat. You're amazing as always. Absolutely love the support and everything that you give both of us on this great show, and of course all the love we get in the DMs and everything. I always answer everybody as best as I can, and it's a great community, and I just absolutely love being a part of it. Colt, let everybody know what you're doing this week and what's going on, buddy.
I don't know. I mean, I want to make more content, but it's interesting looking at like the what there is to report. So I'm just going to try and take care of that. It looks like I might have missed one super. I'm going to make sure I get it as we get out of here. Let's see here. I might not. I mean, I did read one from Crippling Debt. He said that I missed a second one. Hang on a second.
Hey,
I don't like
to. That, Johnny Southside says, please leave Mag. I'm not going anywhere. And by the way, you spelled my name Uag.
Mwag. Yeah, here it is, Crippling Debt. Thank you so much for the $2 super. He says, Mag, when are you playing Dying Light 2? It's awesome.
That is 2 games from now. I'm going to finish Resident Evil 3. I'm playing Helldivers, and then I'm going to get into Dying Light 2. Absolutely,
so he can probably play Dying Light 2 in between sessions of Helldivers, because you don't finish Helldivers.
No. Once Resident Evil 3 is done, my next actual mainline game, like single player game, will be Dying Light 2. I'm really excited, and plus they just released that new update that just came out like a month ago, or whatever. Not even. It was like 3 weeks ago. They released a whole new update, and you got to say, Techland is incredible at post-launch support. I mean, these guys are nuts. I mean, it could be like 5 years later, they're still putting up new modes and new updates for the original Dying Light. Absolutely incredible support. So I am definitely looking forward to playing it.
Awesome. I can't wait to hear you talk about it because it was, there's some hair-raising moments in it, climbing those towers and stuff like you have to parkour them. But yeah.
County Southside, I know you're joking.
We don't take ourselves very seriously on XNC Podcast.
I yell a lot, but that's because I'm Italian. That's just how we talk. So we always sound angry, but I'm not angry.
And I'm Norwegian, so we just burn down churches and what was the other thing you referenced?
Dismember
baby kittens. Yeah.
Yeah, like and eat, listen to black metal and The
freaking world's so awesome, man. Everybody's got something to offer. I like it. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you next week where we've got new stuff to talk about. Because if we did it again, you guys would probably go crazy. Thanks. Hit the like button on the way out. Mag, I'll talk to you soon, bro.
Later, man.